Hello, true duelists. My name's Craig Fee, and here's what's made news this week. Is it 2014? 3 structure decks and some staples just won a YCS, and the structure deck was a Fire King one? Reprints confirmed for the quarter-century Stampede, including new alt arts and literally Satan. Rev up those fryers, cause I sure am hungry for some goofy-ass cat decks. Is that the Brionac figure teased 2 years ago, but in color? That's right, new figures to add to your dust collection, coming soon. Welcome to the Yu-Gi-Oh! Update. By far, the biggest thing that happened to me this week was the crippling realization that Game Freak actually expects me to play Brilliant Diamond or Shining Pearl in order to get a shiny Manaphy, and that is something I find to be utterly repulsive. That has nothing to do with anything else in this video, but I am pissed about it, and I'm using this time to therapize my soul. Therapize? Brilliant word. Nothing else needs to be changed in that intro. The relevant news for Yu-Gi-Oh! In regards to news this week was YCS Birmingham, and the place that British people tell me is bad. And if Americentric opinions on the internet are anything to go by, if the British think something is bad, then it must be truly terrible. You might even say that we should kill it with fire. Just shy of 2,500 players went to the event, only the 3rd YCS for all of Europe in like over a year's time. And lo and behold, the results are incredibly similar to the event that happened a week before this one, where no notable sets came out. There are no dragons involved quite yet in this meta, which means it's all robots and anime girls. And the anime girls are in the top of that percentage according to one chart from Konami's EU Twitter team. That is, of course, this chart. And if you looked at it, you might think, wow, I can't believe Malice is that much more popular in Europe compared to Ryzeal, but that's because they've categorized Ryzeal into 3 separate decks beneath it, taking up 2nd, 3rd, and 4th place. So, yes, Malice did make up about 20%, but Ryzeal's definitely in the #1 slot because reading. Now, I don't understand why Konami would do this to us, because it just opens us up for more reading jokes that people must be beyond sick of at this point, but regardless, Ryzeal's most commonly categorized into 2 categories. There's pure/fiendsmith, depending on the variant, and then there's Mitsurugi variants, which are more different and notably playstyle different. Again, I tried to think of another word for different. It wouldn't happen. There was a disparity between the 2. There you go. Does that word work? Fucking hope so. Either way, Ryzeal's the top dog. Holy shit. How many ways can I say it? Crystron's got 3%. There's your news. How neat is that? They got new support in Supreme Darkness, so that's cool to see. If only the Gladiator Beast cards that I had bought had been remotely good, or if I had gone remotely to the event. Although not remotely to the event, because that was the other YCS that happened this week, but we'll get to that later. Okay, real talk of the town is Konami's EU chart, where they showed us the side deck percentage of cards. How many times a card showed up in a number of side decks, or what percentage of side decks played a certain card. And would you look at that, Lancia is in 94% of side decks at this event. More than double the card in 2nd place, and a nice showing of how interactive this game can truly be, because people don't hate it in this instance, since the alternative to not letting Malice play is letting Malice combo so hard that they don't really let you play, or something to that effect. I don't actually know exactly what it is people complain about in regards to Malice, beyond the fact that it can go through like a million hand traps and it just keeps going and going and gas, but more than that, it's good, and an unending army of casual elitists will hate it for no other reason beyond that. Beyond that, there's nothing shocking from the data. 85% playing Ash at this event. Wow, I can't believe the most popular hand trap's the most popular hand trap. And, you know, a lot of thrusts, bestials, Fualos, all the shenanigans. More notable for me, I think, and broadly everyone, is the fact that Abyss Dweller is in 40% of decks once again, which is notable because it was banned in the OCG recently, and it's probably going to follow its OCG counterpart here in the TCG soon enough. The top cuts were similar enough to Orlando as well, but where a few more fun tops can be found, because, yeah, 31 tops from Ryzeal between Phil Smith Pure and Phil Smith. Phil. His name's Phil now. Fiend Smith, Pure, and Mitsurugi. And then 16 Malice. But there's 5 Momentalists that make top 64. 2 Mermail, a White Forest top, and a Branded, which is neat. Except for the Branded, that isn't neat because I fucking hate those brain dead players. This was the best exemplification of shenanigans, I think. This being the round 6 feature match where the 2023 2023 World Championship winner for Master Duel was playing Ryziel, which is generally considered to be the best deck, and it lost to Paleo Tearlament. And no discredit to Quanto, very good player, very skilled duelist, but it just kind of goes to show you that one, no one's really unbeatable, and two, apparently this was the event where you could just kind of go and do whatever you wanted and get some amount of results provided you were actually good enough. It's like the Europe plants meme is being corrupted to encompass more and more decks, including fucking Paleo Tearlament in some capacity. What's neat about the tops, though, is unlike Orlando, where there were tops from rogue decks, but they fell off pretty quickly, that wasn't the case in Birmingham. Top 16 had 3 of the 5 Memento players that made top 64 in it, and there was a Mermail, a White Forest, and a Fire King variant for a pretty diverse looking pie chart. Although again, with Mitsurugi in there, half of it is technically just Ryziel. The award for best duel of the event, in my opinion, went to the match in top 4, that being Mermail vs Fire King, because of my extreme bias towards both these decks, and the fact that that sentence comes straight out of a YCS from like 2014, let alone a modern one. But it was 2 great players playing out of their minds and no slow play, so that each one could compare. I liked it. I really enjoyed the duel, and shoutouts to Neil Svensson, who I now admire greatly and must apologize to for probably getting the name wrong. I do that quite often. And he lost to the best of the best, which is an acceptable loss to get as a Mermail player, because his opponent, Dinkabui himself, was the winner of the event with pure Fire King. No Snake Eye shenanigans in this deck, and pulling the pseudo-sequel to the Prank Kids win in 2018, or as close as we can get considering it's the same player. The list is pretty simple, all things considered. But you know, how you can compare it to a playset of structure decks in a fun way is a thing that people can argue about, because, you know, there is a playset of Garunix and Ponix and Kirin, and there's your copy of Island and the continuous spell that fetches Island and Skyburn, which all come from the structure deck, and even a playset of Eternity Garunix and Double Hita in the extra. But then there's also SP Little Knight and 2 copies of Typhon and a playset of Extravagance and the 1 Prosperity and 14 hand traps and 3 Bestials, depending on where you slot those in, and a playset of Promethean Princess. So there's a lot of things going on here that are just from the structure deck, and also, you know, a lot of things that include like a $100 per copy playset of a staple hand trap. So what do you want me to say? Is it budget? No, but it's pretty simple, all things considered. That's just good old-fashioned Fire King, and by good old-fashioned I mean good new-fashioned Fire King. There is at least copium, because Fugalas is getting a reprint in 2 months, all right? That being said, though, the very simple list is one that I can very much dig. It's a pretty smart meta call, since Fire King plays pretty great into a lot of common hand traps. Nibiru is incredibly easy to play around, Bestials literally don't matter to it, and Fugalas often does nothing because most of the summoning is coming from the hand. That and the fact that it's got reasonably solid matchups against Ryziel and Malice make it a pretty smart choice played by a very great player. Dinkabui now wins his 2nd ever YCS, and a huge congratulations to him. The next YCS won't be for a little under a month in March, and again there are 2 happening on the same weekend. Because yeah, I kind of alluded to it earlier, but there was a remote duel YCS for Latin America that happened this weekend as well. If you forget about that, it's okay. So did Konami. They didn't even get a tweet mentioning it. And that's funny because it'd be the North American TCG account that did it and not the European event that was promoting Birmingham, understandably. So they just didn't give a shit. The winner was
Carlos Rafael Mejia Guardian,
which I butchered, and I don't know why I said Guardian French. Anyways, my Spanish is notoriously awful. My apologies for that, but congrats for winning. They played Mitsurugi Ryziel and got that deck the redemption it needed following the finals of YCS Orlando. So thumbs up for that. Up next is YCS Sydney, Down Under, on the weekend of March 1st and 2nd, and again, on the same weekend, it's Team YCS San Salvador as well. These events will be playing with the new Blue Eye structure deck in the metagame as well, which could make it more of a triangle format, and if nothing else, for some, will justify the cost of Lordly Load. Or it had better do so, because how the fuck is Load worth more than Paul, or whatever the hell I called Fiendsmith Engraver earlier? Be a great joke to have going forward if I even remotely remembered it. What a tragedy. I clearly can't speak today. And notably, during YCS Birmingham was the decision by Konami to use these massive promotional events as an opportunity to promote their game. An idea so revolutionary for Konami that players almost forget that this really should have been standard years ago, not something we're now going, oh neat, it's cool that they're doing that, but hey, at least they finally made some sense to advertise their game at their big events to advertise their game. Do you remember like a year or so ago when there was that discussion about shareholders wanting the game to be more watchable and enjoyable to audiences to have it like grow? Yeah, neither do I. But hey, at long last, they're using the tournaments for something more than just tournaments. The Quarter Century Stampede is the most anticipated set of the year, and I'm comfortable saying that because I too am a broke motherfucker, and I know exactly how eager you all are to get a copy of Pruelos that doesn't break the bank, because I'm equally as eager for it. Konami has shown how little they respect players in regards to their products with the 2024 Megatins, and I have zero faith that the 2025 Megatins will be worth it in any capacity. Matter of fact, I'm assuming they're going to be absolute dog shit, and I'm confident on that one. So name me a product that's better than Stampede here with Fuelos and the cards they announced at the YCS, because that's what this segment's about. Things like Cyber Dragon Infinity and Raging Phoenix and Access Code Talker as an alt-art, Phoenixian Cluster Amaryllis for Edison players, and the reason I teased at the beginning of this video, Maximum Cock. That's right, Maxi is confirmed to be in the Nostalgia pool for Stampede, meaning it will be in the Platinum Secret Rare and Quarter Century Secret Rare, which is nice for older formats, but evil because bug. I'm actually perfectly okay with it because this doesn't mean anything. It's actually moved down on the two lists where it's been playable. I really don't see the TCG bumping it up, and it's just a good reprint that they've included, presumably for the reason that people wanted it and requested it in the poll they held on Twitter for people asking what Quarter Century Secret Rares do you want, and also the fact that they know it's a good reprint for older formats, so it's actually just a good thing. But it's way funnier to be angry, so fuck you, bug. Get the fuck off of my screen, you piece of shit. This will be, of course, the second to last chance for the Quarter Century Secret Rare in the TCG, along with Alliance Insight after it being the last one, just so long as Konami decides we are absolutely not getting the Quarter Century Art Collection that the OCG is getting, but we probably aren't. We're probably just going to get them thrown into like a Maze set or a Gold set, or who knows. That's cool. They revealed these between each round of the YCS, I think is what I was trying to get at the start of this. I've clearly lost the plot about whatever the hell this segment was. So the Stampede comes out in April. You can expect some real cool things like the Incredible Ecclesia and Fallen of Albaz art, because those are getting here. And of course, we're getting Skull Servant, baby! Let's fucking go! Skull Servant! 14 billion attack, every single attack, let's fucking go! Quarter Century Secret Rare beatdown, Skull Servant best deck, let's fuck. Yeah, I really did not know how to end that segment if it isn't abundantly clear. But what is abundantly clear is that the best artwork of any archetype coming in 2025 was revealed this week, and with it, Yummy brings the stupidest and cutest art of the game that we've seen in a hot minute. I can't find the tweet I'm thinking of, but I saw one person complain with the description being like, we need manlier cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! We need manly cards. That's what Yu-Gi-Oh! Is supposed to be about. And man, are they going to be in for a horrendous disappointment when the next archetype from Justice Hunters gets revealed and it's just more anime girls. Because that's whatever. You can enjoy what you want, but like that's not particularly manly. This is Yu-Gi-Oh! Good sir. And we're just getting dragons and weeb shit until we die. That's all this game is. Still a new Link 1 to place the 2 field spells and the unlimited critter spam that is very much limited but still pretty damn good from the new deck is pretty cool, and it even synergizes with the upcoming Ancient Fairy deck that is getting support in the near future, so it's as solid as it is cute. I've covered the full cards and their reveals in my new card report on them if you want to check that out, just as I did with the Dragon Tail deck and will for the new Furry adjacent deck when we get that revealed too. But until then, behold, perfection. And last up for this week, we've got some reveals for some new merchandise in the form of figurines. Things like Zane standing ominously, and I think with his mouth open, just kind of like one does. And of course, Akiza rocking the double Big Gabongas on full display. Fantastic news for some. I personally am partial towards the Red Dragon Archfiend figure that I guess also comes with Jack Atlas, but I would just throw the Jack Atlas out or not do something, give it away, I guess, because I just care about the dragon. But that's just me. And that's why I'm most excited for the Brionac figure, which was revealed like 2 years ago. But now it's been revealed in color, so clearly progress has been made. This is hype as hell because my friend Mark, who buys this kind of figurine stuff far more than I do, said that oftentimes they'll just end up canceling things because there's just not enough interest or whatever, and so because we hadn't really heard anything about this, like only once or twice over the last 2 years, he was like, yeah, it might actually be canceled. But once again, Mark was proven to be an idiot because he was wrong. And I go back to the quote he gave me in like 2018 where he said, just assume everything I say is wrong. And that's some great shit to live by for both him and me and you, because I've read your comments and my God, some of them are just... my God. Anyways, that's all I've got. So get hyped for the 947th Akiza figure or Yu-Gi-Yami figure, and there's a BLS figure too that's pretty dope. Whatever you get hyped for. I can't wait to get the Brionac figure and look at its legs, because that thing has fucking how disgusting is that? I thought it was just a serpent. Nope. I don't know what the hell it does. What the hell did they do to my boy? And so that wraps it up for this week's update. As always, I've been your host, Craig Fee. Make sure you like and subscribe. Not only doing so will impress your smoking Italian wife, but you will immediately become a true duelist. And more than that, you'll one day get to see what's behind the green screen. I'll give you a hint. Nothing important or cool. And also, I'm not showing you it anyways. Fuck you. I'm going home now. Goodbye. See you next week.